Not yet. Okay, we're on. Hare Krishna, Narayan Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances. May we go on with the vision of Srila Prabhupada as our life and soul in the present tense, no matter how many years pass, it must still be in the present tense.
Right. So we're having a meeting with Narayan Prabhu. We can call it a meeting is to Goshti, a question answer, share of realizations. So Srila Prabhupada wanted everyone to be independently thoughtful and competent in all areas of knowledge. So we're having this conversation of how we can push on the Krishna consciousness movement for the next 10,000 years. For people who have historical questions about what happened in 1968, 67, 66, and what has transpired in the Krishna consciousness movement for the past 50 plus years, they can ask here on YouTube, on Facebook, or as you're watching it live on YouTube. So this is a wonderful opportunity. We don't get this type of opportunities many times because most of the so-called gurus in ISKCON, they were not present during 68, 67, 66. Narayan Prabhu has been there since the early 67, 68, 69, and he has associated with a lot of devotees who started with him. There are Chutanandana, Hayagriva, Kirtanananda, Jayapataka, Hansadura, Bhagavan, Sulochan. These are all Narayan's friends, you can say, contemporaries, whatever you want to call it. And
God
you know,
brothers, God brothers.
God brothers, yes, God brothers. And he knows them very well personally, so you can ask regarding. But we want to keep it more philosophical and how we can advance in our Krishna consciousness personal lives and how to push on the movement that Srila Prabhupada wanted to go on for the next 10,000 years. So, Prabhu, you can start.
It's a very nice distinction because we're not here to tell anecdotal stories like I went on a fishing trip when I was 5 years old, sort of thing. Not anecdotal talking about. We want to get to the point, to the core understanding of what Krishna consciousness was, is. Actually, it never was, and it never will be. It always is. What it is a platform of transparency. And with the transparency, we can make every effort to push on this movement, and people will become entranced. They'll love it because it will inspire them in their hearts to become pure devotees of the Lord. We're not trying to convert people to a religion. And I think, unfortunately, one of the jobs which Ronald, you and I are doing here is to distinguish between the real Krishna consciousness, the real ISKCON, as I wrote on a Facebook page, distinguish between the real ISKCON and the church ISKCON or the religion ISKCON, which it is not. Krishna consciousness, by its very nature, is not and never can be a religion. Religion is copying and quoting. We don't need to quote. We can quote the spiritual master, but we're not quoting the spiritual master when we quote the spiritual master. When we quote Srila Prabhupada, we're delivering his message, not quoting his words. It's not anecdotal. It's not cute. It's not anything ordinary. If I say one thing that I heard from Srila Prabhupada and I say it authentically, it's as good as Prabhupada saying it if I say it authentically. But if I do not say authentically, and I have a smirk on my face, then I'm just saying, I was there and you weren't, and I'll tell you some stories about, what's his name? Oh, yeah, what's his name? Prabhupada, I think his name was. And I'll tell you cute stories about him. No, that makes me revolt. I feel it's revolting to me to hear that treatment of Prabhupada's kata, because his kata is purely transcendental. So if you tap into it, you're in a different world. You're in a world which does not pertain to three dimensions and you and your wife and your family and your kids. We have to always, as householders, we always had to reach beyond our daily affairs to reach the transcendental talking of Srila Prabhupada. And it's always, when you're doing that, it's always a combination because people tend to want to move with the uh, contemporary, the asat, meaning how I relate to my family members, how I relate to my political structure, how I relate to my house, how I relate to my lawn, and how do I mow it. All of these things we have to deal with. But if we become preoccupied with these things, then our Krishna consciousness is just a picture on the wall and some nice plate that's offered, silver plate offered in front of deities. And it may be nice, and the deities may well accept the offering. But that does not mean that I can then be pushing this movement on as Prabhupada was pushing it on. You came up with that wonderful quote yesterday from Prabhupada describing how he saw his guru had so many disciples, very many, thousands of disciples. And yet he didn't see anybody adopting or taking up his spiritual master's notion, his ideas.
Right.
What he said, they didn't take it up. So what did they do? They learned what he said so they could quote it in their own lectures.
Hmm.
To
Right.
quote it. So what's wrong with quoting it? Oh, there's nothing wrong with quoting it. A blind uncle is better than no uncle. Quoting the pure devotee is not the same thing as representing the pure devotee, as though this pure devotee himself were speaking when you're speaking. That it must be there. Unless you can speak in a way that is transparently reflecting your spiritual master's transparent utterance of his spiritual master's transparency, going back all the way to Krishna's lotus feet, then what is going on? Why are you doing it? Just to have a little name and fame? You want to belong to a group? You like the club? You want to join the club and get a membership card and maybe drive a car with a tilak on the door? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? To belong? To believe something unusual, esoteric? Or maybe you think this is the truth, and because I know it's the truth, whatever I do is part of that truth, even if what I do is largely meaningless. And that's what's going on now in the Krishna consciousness movement. It's very nice to hear devotees talking about Krishna, about deities, about Prabhupada, but you can tell that they're not transferring this transcendental. They're not being transparent via media, and therefore they're talking about Krishna, not speaking Krishna.
Hmm.
Krishna kata literally is not talking about Krishna. Kata, Krishna kata is direct. There's no about involved. There's no, well, I once heard about that, nothing like that. Krishna kata is direct, and it's real, has to be real. It is, if delivered properly, realized. And even if you don't realize fully yourself, if you're getting it from an authorized source and delivering it in an authorized way that you heard it, it might as well be transcendental to your own mind. You're doing your best, but if you can transfer that knowledge without realization, but with accuracy and sincerity and accuracy, really, then it is as good as Prabhupada speaking. or Bhaktisiddhanta speaking, or Thakur Bhaktivedanta speaking. It's always as good as when it is kata, genuine, straight on, straight shooting.
Right.
Okay, so once again, we need to say about the ISKCON movement, they have become categorically a religion. And we can name the spot, we can name and identify the moment that they became a religion. And that is, Prabhupada wanted the temples to be independent, and he wanted them to be independently incorporated. He did not want any hierarchy whatsoever in the movement. He didn't want it as a top-down movement. So he created a GBC, and that GBC's design was 3-year terms composed of temple presidents that were elected from a list or a slate of temple presidents. For 3 years, they will serve to help coordinate the different temples. Then they go back at the end of 3 years and take up their temple once again. The temple commander stands aside, and the temple president goes back and resumes his duties, empowered, refreshed, and with a broader vision than he had to begin with. So GBC is an opportunity to develop a broader vision, because as GBC, 12 men GBC, you may be dealing with 50 temples. So if you're going around and dealing with 50 temples, when you go back to your own temple after 3 years, think of your vision. Think of the breadth of your how shall I say? Think of the breadth of your awareness of all of what is happening in these other temples. And the other GBC members also, 3 years. They go out and they go to the temple that was where you came from. And now you're a GBC. You may still be in that temple, but then you go to the GBC meeting and you go to with a group of GBC to help a struggling temple. You do all of these things for 3 years. And at the end of that time, you go back to your temple and it becomes a better temple because of what you did. That was
Yes,
Prabhupada's vision.
this is very important. The GBC members are to be very fixed up Krishna conscious devotees, and they must be very expert. Srila Prabhupada says that the local people have to be trained to take part in leadership, management, and everything. With the present system we have now in ISKCON, it's from the top down. The GBC are the owners, the GBC are the ultimate authority, and in this way, the movement has come to a stop. You can say, because personally, I tried working with Vaisheshika. I'm so his thing is that everyone must be initiated by an ISKCON guru. That's his position. So anyone who doesn't align with their system, they're basically an outsider, or they're not taken seriously, even though he knows that I distributed the most books, I collected the most Lakshmi. Still, he's putting this point that you must be initiated first to participate in Srila Prabhupada's institution. So like you said, it has become a mundane institution.
Religion.
Religion, yes, mundane religion.
Yeah. It's a very interesting, because religion per se is somewhere between mundane and religious, meaning the godly. So the organization can be doing godly work, but when you say mundane, you're absolutely correct. It is become mundane because it is no longer transparent.
Yes.
The transparency is the essential key.
Hmm.
So if you have to, in order to distribute, be an accepted book distributor, and for the large number of books that you personally, probably Ronald Singh, have distributed, to be recognized, you have to take initiation from an ISKCON guru.
No, not recognition. I'm not looking for recognition. I'm looking forward to pushing on the movement so we can have a temple, a center, more like a every town and village type of setup where people can come, They can participate. They can have prasadam. They can talk to people. You know, first,
Yes, but I was saying that you cannot be authentic unless you take, in their view, your authenticity begins with initiation.
exactly. That's what they've made it.
So, and then of course they reject the idea that you can be initiated by Prabhupada, and
Which I
frankly,
am.
what?
Which I am. That's why I
Which
don't
you
take.
are, yes. You can be initiated on your own. You can give yourself your own initiation. That is
Right.
a fact.
Mm,
That
mm.
what that Prabhupada told the Vaikuntanath. He said, "My touch is only the formality." So we go around and around on this. Why? Because 50 years have passed, and the Krishna consciousness movement has become completely set, and everyone knows what ISKCON is. Everyone knows what an ISKCON guru is. Everyone knows what you're supposed to do when you're initiated, but they do not understand that the movement lost its authenticity when it gave up the GBC being elected.
Yeah. Mm.
Because when the GBC is not elected, they become like members of the Catholic Church. Not even the Protestants will tolerate that sort of papacy and all the cardinals and all the bishops and all the monsignors. You have to, I feel like I'm a voice crying in the wilderness in that sense. But if you compare the Catholic Church to ISKCON, you'll find it's practically a perfect match. I like to say that the Catholics are large people. If you look at the Krishna consciousness movement, when they became the permanent GBC and self-appointed GBCs, when that occurred, Catholics began joining the movement in droves.
Mm.
Why? Because this is a kinder, gentler Catholicism. Vegetarian. You're not drinking the blood of Christ. You're chanting the holy name. And there's some promise of direct kinetic activity coming out of that, no matter who your guru is. If you just chant Hare Krishna, there's supposed to be something coming out of that that is for good for you and good for others. But in fact, when I hear the kirtans, they're opaque. Unfortunately, they're opaque. Even nicely sung kirtans, they're opaque. Why? Because they're not induced by Srila Prabhupada. They have to be actually coming via the transparent via medium. If the kirtan is not coming out of your mouth via the transcendental lips of the pure devotee of the Lord, then you're missing the point. You're missing the boat. You missed everything. And there's so many devotees here at New Dwarka who want me to come to the temple. And I say, I would love to come to the temple. Back in 1969, I would be the first one in the temple room.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I wanted to play harmonium. Why? Because I wanted to lead the kirtan. That's why. So I would be there 15 minutes before anybody else, strumming the harmonium, getting ready so nobody would want to dare take it away from me and lead the kirtan. But that was just my own idea. But I always chanted the melodies that I heard directly from Srila Prabhupada. And why not? What other melodies are better? What other melodies should I chant than those coming from the lips of a pure devotee? Why Bollywood? Why folk songs? Why made up songs? Woo! Oh, they say no hard and fast rules. That is not what it means. It is Lord Chaitanya who said no hard and fast rules. No hard and fast rules means two things. One is that outsiders can chant any way they like, but once they're initiated, they must follow the spiritual master. That's a no-brainer.
This is very
Yes.
nice, what you have said. Once they get initiated, and they should not deviate. And I think a lot of problems, or all the problems, has come because we have deviated, or these people who are in management positions, they have deviated to a large degree. That's why the problems are
Yeah.
there. Not
They
following.
may follow the four regulated principles most of the time, but they've deviated in terms of the transmitting the transparent via media message in the sound vibration that it is. When you hear Prabhupada chanting and you listen carefully, you're hearing the core, you're hearing Krishna consciousness in its pure form. So why vary from that? Why go away from that?
Yeah,
Why,
why go away from that? Doesn't make any sense.
yeah. So no hard and fast rules. Lord Chaitanya really indicated mostly that no hard and fast rules means that no hard and fast rules, no hard and fast rules means that you no longer, the mantra can be chanted by anyone. When Lord Nityananda delivered no, when Jagai and Madhai, when he delivered them, Lord Chaitanya was in the process of trying to kill them with his Sudarshan chakra. And Lord Nityananda had a gash on their head from a alcohol pot being thrown and hitting him on the head. Lord Chaitanya could not tolerate. He was going to kill them. But then Lord Nityananda said, but my Lord, if we kill them, then who will we deliver? We came to deliver the most fallen souls. Here someone has hit me on the head with a wine pot and you're going to kill them. No, we must deliver them instead. Causeless mercy. And that is exactly what happened. So the holy name of Krishna could be chanted by Jagan Madhai. The holy name of Krishna could be chanted by me, by you, by people that are not exactly rarefied Brahmins initiated all over the place into every type of gotra, having every type of gotra to qualify them from chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Okay,
But it's secret.
someone is wanting to join. 1 second, Prabhu.
Yes,
Let's
of
see.
course.
Um, let's see. Some devotee is here. Let's see. She can join here. You can join on the Zoom link.
Yeah, take your time. Get them on. We want them on.
Yeah. Let's see. Um, 1 second, Prabhu.
It's fine. I have no delay. I have no time, Doctor.
Or you can ask questions here. You can join in by clicking on the Zoom link in the chat on YouTube, or you can join in. Lakshmi, do you know Lakshmi DP? There's a devotee named Lakshmi DP.
Well, can we get a picture?
Well, she's there. She's trying to join, waiting for the host to allow me. Says, 1 second. Let me see. 1 second. Why is this?
I know more than one Lakshmi.
Oh, you might know her then. 1 second.
Very possible. Is she Prabhupada disciple?
She is Prabhupada disciple. See participants. Oh yeah, admit. Yeah, I'm inviting 2 more devotees in, so they're joining.
That's wonderful.
Hare Krishna, please join. Yeah, so there you go. They're coming now. They should be here now.
And we should invite them to ask a question to be answered.
Yes, Please ask your
because of
questions.
their
Narayan Prabhu is here to answer any questions, anything you'd like to
yeah,
ask.
and
Go ahead.
also make their offer realization, offer their own statement. But to begin, just to begin with, if they ask a question, it will give a introductory way of relationship in this conversation, so that then they will have a basis of standing in our group, and then they can continue and contribute in any way they like.
So, dear Lakshmi, and there's another Ablemic Prabhus. Please introduce yourself, or if you have a question, you can ask. We're just having a discussion about the Krishna consciousness movement, how it started and what it has become. And we're trying to push on this movement for another 10,000 years, not just 1, 2 years, 10,000 years, and how it's going to be sustainable, because presently, right now, the institution has come to a halt. So that's the discussion we were having. So if you want, you can ask a question or we can continue. Or if you want to introduce yourself, that'd be great.
That would be very nice.
Go ahead, Lakshmi.
Yeah. Yeah, my name is Lakshmi and I have joined from India. I don't have any question. I just joined and yeah, I'm hoping to know more about the past. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Welcome, Lakshmi Prabhu. And you're
Thank you.
welcome to our association. In the association of this Istagosti, or Circle of Cowherd Boys, is how Prabhupada created it, that people once a week can sit down and talk together, except we're doing it every night. When we do that, it doesn't matter, boy, girl, cowherd boy, guru, or sannyasi, advanced devotee. Everyone has doubt, everyone has questions, everybody wants to become enlightened, and everybody wants an opportunity to hear and to speak and to be taken seriously as an equal. So in Isagosti, no distinction, men, women equal, boys, girls equal, old man, young man equal. And who else is there in this Dagosti circle of cowherd boys? Cowherd boy circle is not complete unless Krishna is present also.
Who's this person?
Krainę zapomnienia w głowie myśli mam, kiedy skończy się ten stan, gdy już nie będę sam, bo wiedzie biały węgorz, ja pierdolę.
So I muted him. It's
Co się
some funny
dzieje,
fellow.
jak góra
What
z
is
kodu
that?
pieje, jak wilkołak do księżyca, w głowie dziury, jak ulica,
That's a mallard duck with water wings.
leży na blacie
I removed him, so he was causing some disturbance.
Who is it?
I don't know. Someone joined. It's okay.
Yeah, did you see the picture of the duck?
Yeah, the duck was dancing.
Duck was dancing with water wings on, and he was singing a non-Prabhupada melody in the background.
Right.
So that's our distinction. Lakshmi Prabhu, the spiritual master is not alone. He's not just a group member. He's a group leader. He is not just the guy that sits on the throne in the front of in the temple and tells everyone else everything. He may do that, but that's not who he is. Who he is a transparent via medium through the other disciplic succession members. His guru, his guru, his guru, his guru, going back all the way back to Godhead. And that is why we can go back to Godhead, because of the line of disciplic succession. And if that person is transparent, he can make you transparent. And if that person is not transparent, he can make you into a society member, but he cannot take you back to Godhead. That's the fact. So the ISKCON gurus and the ISKCON movement right now, somehow or other, they have become like, they've gradually, over 50 years, is not so gradually, but they gradually turned this Krishna consciousness movement into a Catholic church. I like the Catholic Church and I like the Catholics, but that's not my point. The point is that the Catholic Church does not, the Pope does not a transparent via medium to say Jesus. Not, I don't even know if Jesus was a transparent via medium, but I'm just using as an example. The Pope is not the direct representative. He cannot take you back to Godhead. He can do rituals and sprinkle holy water on your head, and he can do things like that, but he cannot take you back to Godhead, because he is saying this is sort of automatic, that if you have holy water sprinkled on your head and you die and you give your confession at the time of death and you're buried in sacred churchyard ground, then when the second coming comes, you will be dug up and you'll come out of your grave, and Jesus will take you back to the kingdom of God. There's no basis for any of that. Quite factually, no basis. Our transcendental movement must be direct to Krishna, not through an organization that has no connection, direct connection with Krishna. So we have so many gurus in ISKCON who are not self-realized. They're not transparent via medium. Does anybody care? No, because they think that by taking initiation, that is their salvation. But actually, salvation does not exist in ISKCON. What exists in ISKCON is self-realization. Not salvation, but mukti, self-realization. So as self-realized souls, we can then preach in the same sound vibration, that we transcendental sound vibration that we hear from our spiritual master, just as he chanted, and enlighten others who will then go and do the same thing, chant as they have heard from Prabhupada also, until everyone who becomes a devotee is also becoming transparent and therefore capable of delivering millions of souls without sitting on a red chair while doing so. He can do so while dressed in rags. He can do it so while dressed in a tuxedo. It doesn't matter how he's dressed, and it doesn't matter where he is. If he is pure, a pure devotee, meaning he follows all the regulative principles, and he's becoming transparent, insofar as his transparency has begun to develop, that transparency will cause others to begin to be transparent as well. And that is, my dear Lakshmi Prabhu, the introduction to what we are doing here.
Do you have any questions, Lakshmi? Any historical questions, any philosophical questions, any doubts regarding this Krishna conscious philosophy, Srila Prabhupada, or this chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra? Go ahead.
No, I don't have any questions for now.
Have you read any of Srila Prabhupada's books by chance?
Yeah, we do. I do regularly read Bhagavad Gita and Mahasadhaka, Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, recently I purchased and I need to start it actually. But yeah, I read other books.
Right.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. So, in one sense, this is Istagosi, or a place where Prabhupada said Istagosi is where you can express doubt. You can express what is your doubt in Istagosi. This is very different. When you go into a temple room of ISKCON Guru, I don't know if this seems premature to talk about ISKCON Gurus to you. You're reading Prabhupada's books, and you will see who Prabhupada is by reading them, particularly if they're the original unchanged ones. But to talk about Guru, right now, the best thing for a person who is becoming Krishna conscious is to read books, ask questions from reading the books or in conversation with others, and most importantly, express doubt. Whatever you doubt, express that, because in Istagosti, doubt is addressed in the circle of cowherd boys. If one person expresses a doubt, there's a whole circle around to join in and offer enlightenment. And some enlightenment may be more advanced and some less advanced. And sometimes a child or a ordinary boy or someone who's only been there the first day may come up with a jewel of an observation. And somebody who's been there for many years will sound like he's just reading out of some book and doesn't know what he's talking about. So that's why it's so very important to be able to express doubt genuinely in the transcendental movement. ISKCON temples are not very open to expressing doubt. Or if you express doubt, they are met with dogma. Dogma means a fixed belief, a fixed statement of authenticity, which does not bear to be questioned. In other words, if I say, what about this in Krishna consciousness? No, this is what we believe, this is you must accept. That's dogmatic. So,
I'm here in Sacramento, California. We have a little program here. We were having Hare Krishna programs here in Sacramento before the COVID-19 thing started, and all the temples closed. All the ISKCON temples closed in America where I was having our programs. That place also closed. So we took our association online, and we are planning and pushing forward this movement online and trying to get people to understand that spirituality is dynamic and it's not just static, and whatever is going on, more can be happening. And if we actually properly follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions, there's so many things to do and so many things to talk about. Because if you read Srila Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada talks about things from all angles of vision, not just one vision. You know, every town and village, how it's going to happen, because every town and village is different also. The people are different, the culture is different.
beautiful. That is transcendently wonderful statement, I would say. And this is what we need to do. So we're trying to now bridge from Prabhupada, the way he was in 1969-70, bridge through the following 50 years, more than 50 years, no? From 1970, how many years till now?
More
It
than
would just,
probably around 50 or something like that. A lot.
okay. Well, 70, 1970 and 80, 90,
About 40 plus years.
45
Yes.
to year 2000. Well, it's in even numbers. 1970 to 2000 should be an even number. Anyhow, that's not the main point. The main point is that in 1970, the Krishna consciousness movement decided that it didn't want to follow Prabhupada's instructions in how to, I will not say the word management, because that sounds like management. They did not want to follow Prabhupada's idea as to how to propagate this movement in such a way that it would become truly unstoppable. And that only becomes unstoppable not through a big, bulky organization, but it becomes unstoppable by unstoppable individuals. You can shut down an organization, but you cannot shut down an individual. Because the individual, even going to his execution, can be preaching as he goes. That is what it's about. But if you have an organization then everybody sees trouble from the government. They run and hide under the furniture because they don't want to get hurt, and they start grabbing the money and the candlesticks and want to sell them. And that isn't it. That won't do it. We are looking for individuals to become philosophers, independent philosophers. And do they need to be men? Do they need to be highly educated men? No. Women also, children also. There's no exclusion as to who becomes a transparent via medium for Krishna consciousness movement. We want everyone, not just one or two, not just certain select people. We want everyone. And if we create like a temple or an ashram full of such philosophers that want everyone to become Krishna conscious, instead of just talking to all them each other in that ashram, talk, or plan, or plot. Instead of doing that, they will be going to find more people that can become transparent and understanding Krishna consciousness as it is. So when do we have a GBC, Governing Body Commission, elected for 3 years, that's all. And then they manage, and then they come back to their own temple, where each temple independently incorporated, not one big corporation. Right now we have ISKCON Corporation, it's international, centered in Mayapur, I think, or at least it pretends that it is. And it actually has no center, but it's just a big organization, and they created it that way so that it couldn't be attacked by the people, government, etc. But the fact is, if you have each temple independently incorporated, no one can attack you. How can they? You're an individual. And if you're an individual, in your individual temple, you have a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen devotees. How can they attack those 3 dozen devotees? They're independent with you in that temple. And then if you've got so many devotees, the next thing is, why do we have so many devotees? Why is it a dozen? It's too many. Let's go out and open more temples.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, rent an apartment or put up a tent on the side of the road like a homeless person and and start kirtan right there and inquire and have people coming and burn incense and have a deity, and people will come to the side of the road if you have to. Otherwise, get an apartment, 1 bedroom. You can get a studio apartment, no bedroom apartment, just a living space, and invite people in. If you have a house, you like to invite your friends, and you would like to invite people you'd like to have as friends. And why not bring people in that you'd like to have as friends because they're devotees, and devotees become the best friends. Why? Because whenever a devotee speaks to you, he is encouraging you to advance in Krishna consciousness. And when you speak to him, automatically he is becoming more Krishna conscious. So I am automatically, he's automatically, and you're automatically becoming, Lakshmi Prabhu, becoming more Krishna conscious in that process. And that's how we progress. And this is the way it should sound. And if someone is a temple president or not a temple president, anybody giving a lecture in a temple, supposing you have a temple with 10 people in it, and it's an apartment, and everyone's working, so they can't have a program all day long or every day, but they can. Wednesday, Prabhupada started out like that. You have people coming over for kirtan, and you distribute some fruit or dried nuts or something like that. But you give kirtan, and then you talk about Krishna consciousness and invite them to take part. Then on Sunday, in this little studio apartment, on Sunday, you have a Sunday feast. So what do? You have your stove in your studio apartment. So you cook, and you cook Bhagavat Prasadam. nice prasadam that is offerable to Krishna. And whatever your deity is, if it's a photograph of a deity, if it's a little deity, if it's a big deity, if it's a big, big marble deity, you offer your offering to that deity. Why? Because that shows people that come to your house that we're not the end time enjoyer. We are the servant of the end time enjoyer, not that we are here to enjoy only. Now, when I make an offering, I can be thinking, oh, this is yummy. I'm going to enjoy eating it afterwards. Well, that's not a very good offering. Even if it's a wonderful preparation, if I'm thinking and drooling about how I'm going to taste it later, that's not offering. That's planning or plotting. But if I make this offering thinking, if I can only cook in a way that the personality of Godhead, who is the source of all life and the source of every jiva, of every living being, plant, animal, vegetable, reptile, cow, horse, and of course, human being, if that person can be induced to taste this prasadam that is offered in that mood, then our movement is a success. That is how it works. Prabhupada would say our movement is a glorious success. Why?
Right.
What's a glorious success about one man tasting the prasadam for the first time and saying, this is delicious. It's beyond delicious. It's beyond delicious. It's like has an energy in it that food doesn't get. I know how to cook food. I eat it, and I get fatter every year because I cook fatty food. No, but this food, I taste it, offered to Krishna. This is so mysterious. How is it possible that you offer to Krishna, oh, this host sitting in this one bedroom, this bachelor apartment, he's saying, you offer it for Krishna to enjoy with devotion. And you pray to Krishna, please, my dear Krishna, taste this food that I've prepared for you. I want you to have the delicious taste. And I realized that on earth, there are no adequate vegetables. This is not the kingdom of God. This is not Krishna Loka. Where will I find something that can be offered to you? A potato? Grows in the dirt? Yeah, that's fine. And some beans, or you can offer some berries and fruits. But these are all echoes of the real thing. The real ones are in Krishna Loka. And you're being fed these at every time by Mother Yasoda, or you're being fed by Radharani, or you're feeding Radharani. This is the way it goes. And yet here on earth, I'm taking these crude ingredients, crude raspberries, crude strawberries, crude cream from crude cows, and whipping it up and serving it to you and saying, please accept it, because this is the best that I have to offer, and it's all I have. And so please accept it, even though it's not good enough for you. And when that taste is there, Krishna will weep. Tears will come to Krishna's eyes, and he'll taste it. And then when he tastes it, it becomes as delicious as if it were in Krishna Loka. And when he takes that delicious taste, the prasadam is sitting there. Hello?
Yes, we're here.
The prasadam is sitting on the altar. The prasadam is sitting on the altar, and you take it down, and you put it on a regular plate and wash the deity's plate, because it's his plate, not my plate. I can't eat off of his plate. And you distribute to this guy that walks in, or this lady that walks into the temple of your crummy little apartment that costs $800 a month. It comes in and you give that taste that was offered. And when they taste it, they say, this is amazing. I Thank goodness I didn't smoke any cigarettes today. Thank goodness I didn't eat any meat today, so that my tongue could accept this taste. It doesn't know that in reality, beyond my vision of offering, beyond the vision of anyone offering, because it's Krishna on the other side of the wall of Maya Devi. That Maya is a wall, it's a curtain that prevents us from seeing Krishna. Why? Because we cannot see Krishna because we're not pure enough to see Krishna yet. And so, because of that, we do not see that when Krishna took that offering, and I'm saying it's not good enough for you because it's made from crude, earthly strawberries and raspberries and cream from an ordinary cow. That when he took that and heard how I apologized by offering him that, he wept and tasted with tears coming down his cheeks. Why? Because he knows that by understanding that's not good enough, it becomes good enough. And so then he takes the prasadam on the plate and distributes it to the devotees who come in. And when they taste it, they don't know. It's good. I like it. It's good. What is it? It's sort of unusual. They are actually tasting something drenched with Krishna's tears. His eyes have tears. Are these wet tears? Who knows? They're transcendental tears. But these transcendental tears went into your strawberries and raspberries and whipped cream and whatnot. And when you distribute it, they say, I have not tasted like this before. Not ever.
Yeah.
So that's our movement. And it must be always on the individual level, in a little place starting. It can become bigger. You have your one-bedroom apartment or your bachelor apartment, and then you can get a house. You get people there, but we can never become puffed up and think, oh, my temple. Oh, this is my temple. I started this very big temple. I liked my temple. The minute I do that, then I turn into some sort of a beast or an animal in my next life. Because why have I done that? Why have I said, it's not my temple, it's Krishna's temple. And that's how we serve Krishna.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Prabhu, for sharing all these realizations. And this has been wonderful. Lakshmi, do you have any questions? Or I think we have come to an end. We have been talking for about, how long has it been going on? It's about
half an hour?
No, it's about 48 minutes now.
Yes. So do you have any?
Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Prabhu.
It was really wonderful. Absolutely, whatever you explained us, it was really nice, and it is true. Like, what is my intention or goal is like everyone should understand this truth. So basically, people do have complications in accepting Krishna as a supreme Lord. Like there are other gods also, right? Like Lord Shiva or Ganapati, any other gods. So people believe that okay, there is any root or something, all are all are one. But that's wrong, right? So that's what I'm trying to like convey to my friends or relatives or whoever it is. But I like when I came to Krishna's consciousness, when I started learning about Krishna's knowledge, I didn't have any like problem or any issues to accept him as a supreme Lord. But I assumed like even others will also do the same, but it was really not the same. So I am started facing the challenges to convey people that Krishna is a root, or like I'm not trying to force anyone, but I'm trying to make them gain this advantage. So even they should take the like they should escape from this birth and death cycles. So that's my intention. But yeah, I'm trying my best. Thank you so much.
Lakshmi, what you have said is so wonderful. It is exactly what I was talking about. It's exactly the same thing. Transparency. You're not offering them a fact. You're not offering them a Hindu religion or an Indian thing or Ganesh or Shiva, what like. You're offering them something that is appetizing,
Yeah.
and they will take from you, and they will be. That is what is meant by transparent via medium. When you talk like that, that is transparent. That is transparency. Now, make it 100% of your life. And then that
Yeah.
transparency, you'll become like Mirabai, where you can sit and chant and talk, and people will automatically want to become pure devotees of the Lord just because of how you are speaking. So please continue in this way, and you'll
Yeah.
see success. Don't ever think it's you. Always understand it's being coming from Krishna.
Sure. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, well, thank you. You're bringing us good fortune by by your presence, by your words, by your intelligence, and by your actions and thoughts and feelings. But you're also bringing us good fortune because your name is Lakshmi. So that's all very good.
Yeah, I'm so blessed for that.
What part of India are you from, Lakshmi?
I am from Karnataka state.
Oh, Karnataka state. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I visit to Bangalore ISKCON. It's
Mm-hmm.
nearby. Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to ask her about her experience with ISKCON temples?
Yeah, how has been your experience with going to the temples and with the devotees there? Has it been a positive one, or do you ask a lot of
Uh,
questions?
yeah, it's
What?
amazing. Like I can see the huge difference in me actually. Like before, I was like same normal people, like
Mhm.
craving for money or big dreams, home,
Right, right.
car, all this.
Uh-huh.
So I was into like my wish list was so long, but now it's been reduced. It's been cut out to like like I just want to be always with Krishna consciousness, and if I earn, I want to like serve for Krishna. So that's my
Jai.
main yeah.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Great. I'm
oh, no,
36
respond.
years old. I'm 36 years old and I have two children, my wife and kids. So that's my mood also. Whatever you earn, you spend for Krishna, and you talk about Krishna. I try to mold your life around Krishna consciousness. That's why we're
Yeah.
having this program with Narayan Prabhu, where he's assisting and helping and guiding. And, in so many ways, we have to keep this devotee association going. It's very
Yes.
important.
Yes.
Yeah,
Here near my home, like we have a neighbor who
Hmm.
conduct a class every Saturday, and yeah, we go through Bhagavad Gita shlokas and meaning of that. So because of Corona, like it's been it's not going on, but yeah, like this we join online meeting Zooms, and yeah, that's how we are also maintaining social distancing. Yeah.
that's wonderful. So I hope, well, it it's very wonderful that you're coming. You're always welcome to come in with our Zoom and to ask any question, and in your case, make any statement, because your statement that you made was so perfect, so good. We were happy to hear it. When a devotee speaks something that is actually kata, or is on the platform of genuine, sincere realization, it can be neophyte or it can be advanced, but it has the same taste. And that means the kata that is spoken will enliven other people and awaken their spiritual life. And even they may be very advanced devotee. You're speaking, Lakshmi Prabhu, when you speak and people can respond, and it's sincere. And when you are, as you are speaking so sincerely, when that sincerity is there, it will bring out sincerity in others, and they will make advancement. That's what sadhu sangha is about. You get
Yeah.
together with other devotees, and the enlightenment factor increases for everyone in the process. Not to just be a group not just to take an initiation or something like that. Has she taken initiation?
Lakshmi, have you taken initiation, or are you in the process, or what's going on? Or
Yeah, I was about to take, but within that, this lockdown started. But I'm waiting for the next opportunity. I'm ready now. Yeah.
But who is offering the initiation?
Uh, the like after Prabhupada, I'm not remembering the name of that guru, but uh, I don't remember the name. But here we have Sarveshwara Prabhu. Here in India,
So
we
you're
have.
saying that you're thinking to take initiation from someone that you don't actually really know.
Yeah, correct. Like they're not
Mhm.
too close, but when we go for this Krishna's, puja or any program, so that's where I meet them. But there is no much contact over social media, so I don't remember the exact names actually.
Yes. Well, can we consider that Prabhupada is the source, is the transparent via medium? To my
Yes,
understanding, and I don't want to shatter or
yes.
disturb any shraddha or faith that you have in your
Mhm.
association with ISKCON at all, but the
Yeah,
gurus in ISKCON are not transparent via mediums. They're
right.
officials, they're priests, they're
Yeah.
pandas,
Mm.
and that's not what we need in this world. If you take initiation from a priest or a panda, you'll be in his orbit and you will
Mhm.
make as much advancement only as he can offer for himself. But if he is
Okay.
not making a huge advancement himself, then you'll be stuck in his little orbit making not much advancement yourself either. However, I
Correct.
hear the way you talk, you should consider looking, you can and authentically consider that you don't need to take Diksha. You can accept
Mm-hmm.
Prabhupada as your teacher. And if someone comes who is equal to Prabhupada, then you can consider Diksha from that person. But if
Okay.
you, but you don't actually require to take Diksha from any individual. And if anyone tells you you cannot take, be functional in the temple if you don't take Diksha, then
Mm-hmm.
that's just a businessman, not a
Yeah,
devotee.
yeah. A lot of
Okay.
people are just using Krishna consciousness to make a business uh, and control people.
Yeah, or an
Yeah.
organization, a club.
Yeah, club.
You
Yeah.
can join the Rotary Club, the Masons Club. You can join well, Masons are pretty good, but you can join their gardening club. And whatever it is, there's a president, a vice president, and there's a board of directors and all that stuff. But that's
Mm-hmm.
not why you came. You came because of the flowers in the gardening club, not to become under the authority of the chairman of the gardening club. So that's not required. Prabhupada is
Okay.
the transcendental gardener. So, so you can accept Prabhupada. Just go for Prabhupada if you like, and accept
Okay.
guidance from whoever else is there. But
Sure.
if somebody inspires you to say, take initiation from this
Hmm.
person,
Okay.
guru, just say, is he an Uttama Adhikari? Meaning, is he in his rasa with Krishna? Because Prabhupada was in his rasa with Krishna without doubt. And he was able to explain it. He explained it to me. So, and he can, and if you listen to his lectures, he'll explain it to you. You don't have to join the club. You don't have to become a member with a rubber stamp on your wrist saying initiated by so and so. Not necessary. You can be initiated. The initiation is accepting the teaching of the spiritual master.
Mm-hmm.
And Prabhupada wrote the books. How can he not be the spiritual master?
Mm-hmm. Joy.
So that's what I'm recommending. You're reading Prabhupada's books. And if you know you can actually, if you're getting them from the temple, they may be altered books, changed books, edited books. And you can also go to like, what's it, Krishna.com? Or how do you
Yes,
get the,
Krishna.com. Yes, Prabhupada books.
Yeah. You go to
Okay, sure.
Krishna.com, Prabhupada's books, and you can get unchanged original books. And you'll see there is, sadly, lamentably, and regrettably, a difference between the changed books and the not changed books.
Okay.
So that we recommend that you become the disciple of Prabhupada. And if someone is there equal to Prabhupada, then you can become their disciple also, but only if they're equal to Prabhupada. But to take initiation from a Kanista Adhikari or Madhyam Adhikari will harm your spiritual path. And I've seen so many people initiated by the gurus of the ISKCON movement who are not themselves Uttama, they're not pure devotees. So they may be Madhyam Adhikari, no, not even, they are advanced Kanista Adhikari. They're doing their job, they're organizing the temple, they're organizing the manpower, and by being the guru, they can direct orders and people will be loyal to them. So that has nothing to do with spiritual life. That has to do with belonging to a club or a group. And if you turn and try to combine the club into spiritual life, you're going to end up with something that's as dull as blazes. Boring, not exciting. But if it's Krishna consciousness, Lakshmi Prabhu, I would say that if you give a lecture the way you were talking on this site here to this Istagosti, if you give a lecture, I feel assured. I don't know, I can assure you, you can assure or not assure, but I know that if I heard you giving a lecture to people that didn't know much about Krishna consciousness, the way you were talking, they would be inspired. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
You don't have to have a guru or be a guru to inspire someone to surrender to Krishna or to be excited about learning about Krishna or reading Prabhupada's books. You don't have to be a guru, and you don't have to have a guru to do that. All you need is to be Lakshmi and
yes.
speak the transparent truth. I'm sorry, I've talked over you a lot, so go ahead, say what you like.
Sure.
Bhanu Prabhu is here.
Oh, how nice. So would you like to say something more? We would love to hear you say something.
Yeah, I do have plans to like do more, in Krishna consciousness, but so because of my responsibilities, so it's been limited yet. But yeah, like for self, I am doing. But yeah, in future, I do have plans to spread this. But yeah, the time, let God decide that when good time comes. Yeah, I'll start that. That's my plan.
How old are you, Lakshmi?
Now I'm 22 running.
Oh, wow. So you have completed your studies or are you in college or?
No, I'm working now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what work?
Sorry?
What type of work?
Yeah, I am working as a cloud engineer in Amazon.
Oh,
Jai. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, Lakshmi, this is a very nice thing to meet you. I hope you feel comfortable in our association, and we're not male chauvinist pigs or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely always happy. I'm blessed to like get this notification and join the Zoom call. Yeah, I'm happy.
And when we talk to each other, we say Prabhu, as you know.
Yes.
So I say to you, Prabhu. Prabhu means master. So I'm not looking at you as this young girl. I'm a woman. I'm looking at you, master, because what you have told me, I did not know. Hopefully what I told you, you did not know. You see.
Yes.
So because of that, Prabhu is the word master, because you've given me what I did not have. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Jai Lakshmi Prabhu.
Thank you.
Advaita Prabhu and Bhanu Prabhu are online. If they have any questions or they want to talk about something or they can speak, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Advaita Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Ronald Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
If they have no video themselves, they can see us or not see us.
They can see us, but we cannot see them because they're not sharing the videos. But that's all right. Maybe the connection is slow, or they're at somewhere they don't want to. Sometimes it's discreetly done.
Yes,
So
you can use
that's
the
fine.
what you call it. If you have an iPhone, you should be able to connect with an image, if you like,
Right.
with your face. So we
Advaita
can see
Prabhu,
you.
Bhanu Prabhu, do you guys have any questions or want to share any realizations or whatever?
Lakshmi is where? Where's
Lakshmi?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhu,
Bhanu Prabhu.
we shouldn't be adding or subtracting anything or to what Prabhupada has said. At the same time, we need to be individual philosophers. So could you say more about this?
Oh, that. Okay, go ahead. Narayan Prabhu.
Would you like to make a comment?
No,
Yes,
you
sir.
make a comment, then I'll make a comment after you, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Okay. And clarify his question so I have it perfectly.
Bhanu Prabhu saying we have to be individual philosophers
Yes.
as well as not adding or subtracting to what Prabhupada has said or to the philosophy. Is that what you
That's
said,
a-
Bhanu Prabhu?
Exactly.
Is that the idea, Banuji?
Yeah.
That is a very high level perception. Because how can you be independent philosopher without adding or subtracting? That's the question, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I just want to be sure that I'm on the right track. How can you be independent philosopher? Because we think independent philosopher is doing his own thing. He's his own philosopher. How can you be your own philosopher without, while not adding or subtracting anything whatsoever to the Krishna consciousness? And that is because the spiritual master's words and the transformation that he is going through as Krishna is speaking through him as the transparent via media means what? Krishna is speaking through Prabhupada. It's not that Prabhupada is, just talking the way you and I are talking. So because Krishna is speaking through Srila Prabhupada, he is an independent philosopher because no two jivas are the same. Each jiva is independent of every other jiva. Yet we are all part and parcel of Krishna. We're inside of Krishna's existence. You can say inside his form, whatever you like. We're a dot. We don't even a dot. We have an infinitesimal beings without any dimension, non-dimensional. Like when you're doing mathematics, if you put a pencil on the paper and then you put another pencil on the paper, you make two dots, then you take a ruler and you draw a line in between. Well, the line is supposed to not have any dimension, and the dots have no dimension. But we can't have no dimension because we wouldn't see it, so we make a big dot. And if you took that under a 50,000 microscope under a microscope to see how big that dot is, it would look like the football field. This non-dimensional dot would look like as big as a football field because it's symbol. But what we're talking about, the jiva, is actually non-dimensional, infinitesimal. Actually, infinitesimal means, what it really means is no matter how many unlimited numbers of devotees there are, jivas there are, no matter how unlimited number of jivas there are, say in my own body, what to speak of my body and your body, what to speak of all the people on the street, what to speak of all the insects in the pavement of the street, and all the grass on the lawns and all the birds in the sky and all the insects and all the germs in their bodies, these are all jivas. And yet, each jiva is independent. Why? Because Krishna does not create duplicates of himself. Each jiva is completely independent of every other jiva. Therefore, independent philosopher means come to your own existence as an independent individual, part and parcel of Krishna. Jiva, Sat, infinitesimal. Because if I'm Sat and I have dimension, I think Sat, oh, that's like a circle, or maybe it's like a lump or something like that. No. If it is like a lump, there won't be room in Krishna for all of these lumps. Infinitesimal means no dimension. And so, independent philosopher means you come to the point of the Bhakti Lata Bij. You come to the point of wanting to connect with Krishna yourself. Independent philosopher means you're not into connecting with Krishna under somebody or because of somebody. You're connecting with Krishna yourself.
Directly. Yes.
Directly. So the Bhakti Lata Bij is a devotional creeper that comes from the heart of the devotee and goes up to Krishna's lotus feet. So like Jack and the Beanstalk sort of thing. That stem goes up vertically. It's the opposite of the Ana Abhilasha Bij, which is social, chit-chat, very much asat. Why? Because I talk to you, you talk to me. Oh, are we talking to each other? No, we're talking at. I, the individual soul, I'm talking at your body, thinking that I am my body, and you responding in as jiva are talking at my body through your body, thinking that you're your body. So we're sitting there in complete illusion, thinking we're our bodies. So the independent, yes. So the independent philosopher means infinitesimal jiva, to speak and learn and advance from the quagmire, from the sewer, as it were, of this material body. In this material body, the jiva can become an independent philosopher if he separates himself from identification with this body. How can I identify with that which is not if I am that which is Sat, eternal particle, part and parcel of Krishna? See, even the word part and parcel sounds dimensional. Parcel is but in this case, the parcel is not a parcel in the ordinary sense of the word. The parcel is an infinitesimal thing. However, when I, the infinitesimal soul, manifest in Krishna consciousness, beginning with Madhyama Adhikari, ending with Uttama Adhikari, I have a form. I might be bigger than Krishna. I might be Nanda Maharaj. Bigger than Krishna. This infinitesimal part can become bigger than Krishna. Because Nanda Maharaj is Krishna's father, and he's bigger than Krishna is. Duh. Why wouldn't the father be bigger than his son, his little baby? So that's how it works, you see. So that infinitesimal non-dimensional spot, or location, or algorithmic conclusion, is now bigger than Krishna, stronger than Krishna. He can arm wrestle with his son Krishna and win because Krishna's a baby and he's an adult. So this is how it works. This is the essence of it all. but not to get too confused or confusing. But we need to go into the idea of independent philosopher for you, Bhanu. So independent philosopher means not some other philosopher than yourself. Supposing I want to study philosophy, I can study Immanuel Kant. I can study Socrates. I can Plato. I can study them. But I'm not an independent philosopher. I'm just a student of philosophy, and I'm quoting other philosophers who don't even pretend to be independent philosophers. Each one is doing his own thing, but that not one of them considers himself infinitesimal. So how can that go on? So to answer your question now succinctly, the independent philosopher is the person who's cultivating the Bhakti Lata Bij, not busy chit-chatting on the Abhilasha Bij, and not simply trying to confine himself by meditating on the Jnana Bij or the Karma Bij, working to make himself richer in his next life. None of the above. So that's how you become the pure devotee of the Lord. So how do you, to be independent philosopher and still, what was your second concern?
His concern was that we have to be independent philosophers, independent, and then we should not change the philosophy. Right, Bhanu Prabhu? That was the question? Or we should know the philosophy? What
We
was
have
it?
to be independent philosophers. At the same time, we shouldn't add or subtract from what Prabhupada has said, preached.
Yes.
Yes,
He's saying
that is a wonderful question. It is a sadhu question. It's not a neophyte question. It is this question that you could ask if you were a great soul sitting with, like, Vishwanath Chakravarti or someone like that, and ask, and they did like that. They would, certain shivas, sadhus, would come and they'd seek out someone to ask a question, and that's the type of question they would ask. It's very excellent.
Jai.
So, Jai is right. So now, how do we do that without changing Prabhupada's philosophy? Because Prabhupada is also independent philosopher, and when he is expressing, he's expressing as it is, as he is, and you're expressing as you are, as it is. And when you're there, when the Bhaktivedantas were in the association of Narada Muni, he was in their association, he was a little boy, and he was with these Bhaktivedantas during the monsoon, and they were there, and they were discussing, of all things, Krishna's childhood pastimes, which we all know because we've read Krishna book. No, they were seeing and transferring. Each one had a different individual experience of that pastime. Each one of those great Bhaktivedantas had a different experience of Krishna's stealing butter and giving to monkeys that the others had never heard. What do you mean? You've never heard of Krishna stealing butter and giving to monkeys? Duh, that's like a no-brainer. That's what you learn when you're 6 years old and your mother reads you Krishna book. No, that's not the point. What is the point is the way you experience that Krishna steals butter and gives to monkeys, and the way I and him and him and him, all the Bhaktivedantas, each one is experiencing a different taste of that same pastime. It's a little bit different. The way we talked about the Atma Rama Shloka, it's a different time, different place, different person. But here we have them all sitting together, but not one of them is sitting inside of the body of the guy next to him, and nobody's in front telling them all what to believe, like ISKCON. Nobody's up there telling them all what to believe. You have to believe this. This is what you believe that. No, we say, this is what Prabhupada said, let's understand it ourselves as independent philosophers. And then
Yeah.
we have then it's the
That,
ghosting.
that's
Yep.
a very good point, because Srila Prabhupada wanted, like you said, we discussed many times that each temple should be individual. So
Yes.
individually incorporated. So what does that mean? That means you look at the present situation where you're in right now, what you can do to preach Krishna consciousness. I mean, I'm a grihasta. I have certain responsibilities, you know, and
Of
my
course.
dharma. And I cannot adopt the duty of a sannyasi and leave everything and, do whatever they do. But still, I can engage in Krishna consciousness to whatever
Yes.
degree I've realized it,
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So these, to finish up with the Bhaktivedantas, also, they were turpulating, Tirpulating, as far as I understand, turpulating. What is turpulating? This is one of Prabhupada's wonderful words. I don't know if you can find it in the dictionary or not. Tirpulating, not tripulating, tirpulating. If you can look it up on Google, how it doesn't exist. Just like if you look up Pestemius, I don't know if you'll find it or not. I never could find it in physical books. Maybe nowadays with Google you can do that. But the tirpulating means they were vibrating. When I heard that pastime that I know backward and forward from a person that knows it backward and forward, because we're both know it backward and forward, but his version is a little different than my version. The difference of the versions make me vibrate, and he vibrates also when we are considering this, because we have never heard that combination of his intelligence and my intelligence meeting. But we're talking about Bhaktivedanta, dozens of them, probably 30, 40, 50 of them were there, all turpulating, meaning they were vibrating because they could not experience that pastime the way they used to. Now they're experiencing it right now, bouncing it off of everyone else who knows that pastime as well. And remember, I'm talking about that pastime as though it's static. But that pastime is Krishna actually stealing, actually giving butter, actually giving it to monkeys continuously. There's no limit. There's no time in the spiritual world. Time does not exist. Why? Because everything is based on pastime. They said, but wait a minute. When Krishna steals butter, there's a certain span of time between stealing the butter and giving it to the monkey. Right? No, there's no time. Why? It's all based on episodic nature. When Krishna steals butter, what the hell is he going to do with it? He gives it to the monkey. There's no time involved. He's eternally stealing, eternally giving to the monkeys. Like, if you wanted to, you could stop the movie and see Krishna continuously stealing butter, going on and on and on, stealing butter. And then you can see him giving to monkeys, giving to monkeys, giving to monkeys. There's no time involved. Stealing is one thing, giving is another. They are conjoint. He steals the butter, and what else would he do with it except in this pastime? Why? Because when he steals it. Remember, I talked earlier in a different talk about how the gopis' rasas are so constructed that as they go further and further and further up, that whatever they have contributed is accepted by the next layer of gopis, who take it and consolidate it into an even more refined one to the next layer of gopis, so that everything that has been done at the bottom level still exists at the top, and yet it's become more refined. So the same thing is with the Krishna stealing butter and giving it to monkeys or any other pastime. Why? Because when he steals the butter, he steals it in a certain way. He doesn't just grab the butter, now I've got butter. That would be crude. Actually, if you do it, if you had a hand and there was a pot of butter and you grabbed the butter, And if I did it and somebody else did it, each person would do it in a different way. Right? I mean, how could it not be? How could it not be a different way? We're all individuals. And if you did it twice, it would be different each time. Why? Because you can't make the same motion twice. So that's what I'm trying to bring it down to, is that in the spiritual sky, which is where these Bhaktivedantas were residing while talking about Krishna stealing butter. I mean, that is Uttama Adhikari stuff. They were Uttama Adhikaris beyond imagination. And because Krishna steals the butter and gives to the monkey, specific in a certain way, there's no gap in between that time could fill. If you can do that on Earth, it can't be done. When I pick up something and I put it somewhere else, there's been a lapse of time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But that's not in the case of Krishna Loka, because the pastime is, when I pick up, supposing I picked up butter and I gave it to a monkey, there would be time involved. What to speak of, the monkey might not like butter. We don't know. But in Krishna Loka, the connection is immediate, because each part of the pastime is eternally occurring. He's always stealing butter. You can say, well, that's, a lot of times, isn't it? No, always stealing butter means exactly all. The butter is being stolen by Krishna's hand each time, always, in every imaginable way. And then the butter is given to the monkeys in every imaginable way. So there's no gaps anywhere. There's no need for time. There's no space in Krishna Loka. Everything is dense.
Bhanu, was the question answered, or
he fell asleep?
Or he fell asleep?
I don't know.
Bhanu's still there?
I got a lot of points, though. I noted a lot of things.
Well, Bhanu, was that okay? It wasn't a very short answer, and I apologize for that.
Ronald Prabhu.
Yes.
Was the answer okay?
Yeah, it was a nice answer.
Yeah, I do have a question to ask. Can I ask?
Sure, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So my question is that what is the pure form of energy in related to Krishna consciousness?
What is the pure form of energy related to Krishna consciousness? Advaita Prabhu is asking. Can you be a little more specific, or?
I mean, pure form of energy means to transform to remove the negative thing from a person and fill with the pure spiritual vibes or energy, you can say.
Well, consider, yes, it's a very intelligent, very excellent question, shall we say. Very good question. Why? Because the answer is Brahman. Brahman means the spiritual energy. The Brahman Jyoti is Brahman. Everything in Krishna Loka, the substance is Brahman. So we say a Chitta Veda Veda Tattva in Brahman, meaning simultaneously, inconceivably, one and different with Krishna, yes, because we're part and parcel of Krishna. We're not all of Krishna, but we're also different than Krishna, because we can have pastimes with Krishna. But what is that Brahman? The Brahman means if I am a self-realized soul, I am transparent via medium. That is Brahman. Is it the impersonal Brahman? No. It is Brahman as manifested in Krishna's life or pastimes. So when we say Prabhupada is transparent via medium, we are not making it up. He is transparent, and that is that light that you're looking for. So the light of Prabhupada being transparent by a medium, and you might say, why is Prabhupada transparent? Well, there's only one reason why Prabhupada is transparent. Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his guru was transparent. And what about above that? Yes, his Gorkashore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jagannath Das Babaji, and on and on and on for hundreds of thousands of gurus that are transparent back to the lotus feet of Lord Balaram. That's how it works. And Prabhupada said we should imagine that we're being dragged up through the Sampradaya by Lord Nityananda, meaning that's to say Balaram is Nityananda's Balaram, dragged up by Balaram through the Vaishnava Sampradaya. It's not just a bunch of people sitting there on kusagrass mats in a row on the altar. It is. But if we want to be dragged up, they're one over the other. And we're being dragged up through this disciplic succession. And that is the light we're talking about. Does that answer your question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Thanks.
It does?
Yeah, Prabhu. Yes.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
It's very nice to think that I could shed a little light on the light.
Yeah.
How do you shed light on Brahman?
Yes, Prabhu. So you are saying that the Brahmanda, but the Mayavadis or the impersonalists, they think that they think that so that if they want so that the Mayavadis, they think that if they merge with Krishna or the super soul like that, they can get the infinite amount of spiritual energy. Is that right?
You're saying that they feel they can merge into Brahman.
Yeah.
Yes, and they can, and it is very amusing how they do it. Prabhupada told specific. I heard Prabhupada specifically describing how they do it, and it is very, as I said, amusing. The person becomes a yogi. He sits there with his the vines crawling up his hair and his hair coming down into the vines for 50,000 years till boing, he cracks a hole through his ceiling of his skull, and out comes the jiva and enters into the Brahmajyoti, or the Brahman. Between, what is Brahman? It is the space between the Vaikuntha planets. Rays of light are coming from each Vaikuntha planet in every direction, and that creates a intricate nest of Brahman, which is all spiritual energy in the atmosphere and also rays of that energy traveling through the atmosphere. So it's very complex. When I was designing Prabhupada's books, I wanted to have it printed with a gold stamp with all these lines crossing all over each other, but somehow they couldn't do it. But I like that idea. So that you can see that they're crisscrossing everywhere for each type of, there's 4 Vishnus with different hands and weapons and whatnot in different positions, 4 different positions, because they have 4 different arms. And they have their own planets, infinite number of planets, with infinite number of devotees living on those planets. So it all creates a Brahman that's between those planets is Brahman. And outside of Krishna Loka, that is also Brahman. We are not in Brahman. We're in the Mahatattva, which is floating in Brahman. The Mahatattva is a material darkness floating in the light. And that's where we are right now. At least I am. I'm looking outside and I see a dark sky because it's nighttime. That proves I'm not in Brahman. So now here's the good part. Srila Prabhupada described that the yogi dissolves himself and enters Brahman without lungs, heart, brain, or anything, just jiva, a ball of energy in Brahman. So there's the jiva floating in Brahman. And he stays there for unbelievable lengths of time. Just like conditioned souls stay in this material world for hundreds of thousands of births, Prabhupada says. Good God, can you imagine we've done that? We're now a human being.
Wow.
more or
Wow.
less human beings, more or less human. But we've been insects, we've been germs for hundreds of millions. And now we are being delivered personally by Lord Chaitanya through the Vaishnava Sampradaya, coming
Yeah.
down through
Mm-hmm.
Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and Prabhupada. We should not underestimate what is being done to us, for us. That's another step for the understanding that how Prabhupada is transparent by medium. Also, he is, anyhow. So he's in the Brahman. So he stays there for unlimited period of time, but not eternally, because the jiva in the Brahman is sort of like he left his doing his meditation with lotus position and all that and cracked
Mm-hmm.
through the skull. He has no big identity, no big identifications, nothing. He has no attachments. He's completely pure, in other words.
Right.
And so there he is floating, this pure little iota in the Brahman.
It falls down.
But there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
He can stay there for such a long time. But the jiva is not impersonal. He's part and parcel of Krishna.
Yes.
And Krishna has desires. Krishna wants to do things. Krishna wants arms and legs. Krishna wants to eat things. Krishna wants to dance with gopis. So this jiva is there, artificially neutralized himself, neutered himself, really. He did. He neutered himself also. No more desires for anything. And there he is, stuck in the Brahman, except that eventually the nature of the jiva begins to re-manifest. He begins to have desires. Why? Because Krishna has desires. Why wouldn't he have desires? We imagine that the Brahman is the ultimate Godhead or something like that, but it's not. The ultimate Godhead is Krishna acting beyond the Brahmajyoti. Huh? Okay, so here he is in that Brahman, that little dot, jiva, just like we are, but he's all by himself. He doesn't have a body. He has no way to express himself, and he doesn't even believe he can or should express himself. He begins to develop a desire to do things.
Yes.
The minute that he develops a set of desires, boom, he has to come down to the material world and take birth.
Right. Right.
He can
Then
take birth as a very great soul.
Mm-hmm.
Are
And
we
there's so many
dreaming
of
in
them.
Goloka?
I'm sorry?
Are we dreaming in Goloka right now?
He cannot go to Goloka. Goloka
No, are
is
we
outside of what?
Are we in a state of dream in Goloka right now?
Hare
Here?
Krishna, Bharat is saying that
No,
are we
well,
living in the
I don't
dream
think.
of
If he
Vishnu?
was a Mayavadi, he wouldn't be dreaming
No,
Goloka.
he has a
We're
different.
dreaming Goloka.
No, he's saying, are we dreaming in Goloka right now? Bhanu Prabhu is saying that. He's making a statement.
Oh, are we dreaming in Goloka?
Yes.
That's a good question, because can we actually leave Goloka? But remember, the jiva is a jiva. He's part and parcel. We have desired to be in illusion, but illusion's not reality. So are we still in Goloka thinking we're in the material world? Well, we're not acting like we're in Goloka. I would say that when Prabhupada says we fall from Goloka into the material consciousness, we do. Because you can't be stupid in Goloka. You can't be opaque. You can't be unobservant in Goloka. So getting back to the jiva in the Brahman, he comes down and takes birth. And who does he take birth as? As somebody with enormous perception abilities. He can see around the corner. He can do all sorts of things. And I like to think that maybe Mozart or maybe Albert Schweitzer, people like that, they had come down. Now they're empowered to act in a higher way on Earth. But they came back to Earth, or whatever planet they can come back to, because they can see around the corners. They can see more than most people can see. How do they do that? Because they can now see from the platform of a jiva who became liberated coming back down, no longer liberated. And that's the joke, is that you can become a liberated soul by entering Brahman, but you can't stay there, and you come back, and when you come back, you're not a liberated soul anymore.
Right. You lost it.
Okay, my question is, can I ask my last
Go
question?
ahead. Go ahead, Aditya
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Prabhu, my question is that Krishna's pastimes are always going in spiritual world, one after another, just like he all did his pastime in this world. Same goes in the spiritual world, right? In all the time.
Oh, you're saying about Krishna's pastimes in this world and in the spiritual world?
Yeah, in spiritual world. Yeah, in spiritual world, is it always going, or some part it is not going?
The spiritual world is constantly co-creating pastimes with each jiva. Each jiva is co-creating relationships with every other jiva and with Krishna. With Krishna, it depends on his rasa. Whatever your rasa, like if you're an ordinary, just run-of-the-mill jiva, but you get the idea that you want to be Krishna's mother or father, you can become Krishna's mother Yasoda. How? By increasing your motherly feeling to Krishna, Krishna, in reciprocation, begins to feel mothered and baby-like by reciprocation. And you keep going until finally Krishna's a baby and Mother Yasoda is his mother. Prabhupada said laughingly one time, he said, everyone wants to become God, but we want to become greater than God.
Yeah. Great.
He said, how? Because Krishna, you can become Mother Yasoda and tie God up with a rope onto a grinding mortar. That's greater than God. You become more powerful. Why? Because that's the pastime. That's the reciprocation that's going back and forth between Mother Yasoda and Krishna. It's co-created on the transcendental platform. But Mother Yasoda is no different than you or me. She happens to be an Uttamadhikari who has very motherly feelings for Krishna. And as she develops those, he develops smaller and smaller size feelings towards her until he's nursing on her breast as a newborn child. That's rasa. That is the nature of the rasa with Krishna. So, no, the pastimes with Krishna in the spiritual world are there. When a person has a desire, here's an example. A person has a desire. He's sitting there on a wall made of Chintamani stones, surrounded by flowers that are also pure devotees of the Lord in the Shanta Rasa. And then he's under a desire-fulfilling tree, Kalpavriksha, and he's in the sky, and he's sitting there, and he's wearing clothes that are made out of jivas that are become the clothes rasa, and he's sitting there saying, this is so wonderful, he's worshiping Krishna. Remember, he has minute independence, even in Krishna Loka. With that minute independence, he then says, what if people were worshiping me?
Bloop.
Yes, then he blooped down into the material world. Why? Then he discovers what is it like to be in the material world, to be the Lord of all you can survey, you hope.
This is the way we go back to Godhead also, right? We fall down the same way and we go back to Godhead the same way.
Yes.
like by remembering Krishna at the time of death.
Or
And
remembering Krishna in the time of life also.
yeah, life also, life and death.
Well,
And
we don't, death is less important. You know why?
there's no
If-
death.
Yeah,
First of
there's
all,
no death, and we can also miss. But if I'm worshiping Krishna with my life, I'm a jiva. If I say to Krishna in my heart, make me dance, make me dance, make me dance, like a puppet on a string, then whatever happens to me doesn't matter.
life or
Because
death, right?
yeah,
Yes, doesn't matter.
Krishna's moving me around however he wants.
Jai.
And I can do all of that. So the pure devotee who does that is more fortunate than the yogi or any liberated soul. Why? Because if Krishna wants him to go to Africa and preach, he goes to Africa and preaches. He doesn't have to think about going to Africa and preaching. He just goes because Krishna directs him to go there.
Right.
And I went to Africa because Prabhupada went to Africa. So that's a whole other thing. But so does that make sense?
Any other questions? We've been going on for some time now. I think maybe we should end it unless people have some more questions. We'll start again tomorrow.
But tomorrow we'll try for 7 o'clock, not later.
Yes, we'll try to. Go ahead.
Keeping the session short. The session.
Well, I think we have been in the conversation for some time now, Bhanu Prabhu. We started.
Well, does Bhanu have another question?
Yes, Bhanu Prabhu, you have any questions? Narayan Prabhu can answer, certainly.
I just want to hear what you speak, all the things. Let the session go on, I'm saying.
He wants to have more of a conversation going on. Maybe you can talk about, well, how do you feel, Prabhu? Can you go on for another 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or do you want to take rest? What's that? It's getting late, I know that.
For me, it doesn't matter. But Bhanu, if you want a conversation, why not have a conversation with Dr. Ronald and I will participate in it? Because what I'm telling people is coming out, it's on the transcendental platform, and it's not kind of very conversational. But if you have a conversation, I can participate and add or to participate in that conversation, if you like.
Very good. Anyone can do that.
Yes.
Ronald Prabhu, I have a last question.
Okay.
Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhu. I wanted to know about Jayananda Prabhu. Jayananda Prabhu, you know? Yeah.
Yes. Narayan Prabhu knows about Jayananda Prabhu. He associated with Jayananda Prabhu. So
yeah.
Prabhu, maybe you can speak some wonderful, positive stuff.
Are you kidding? I never do that. Jayananda, yes, I knew Jayananda very well. He assisted me in making the big, gigantic Rath Yatra cars in 1970. But I knew Jayananda when I was in college. He and I took a modern dance class, interpretive modern dance class. And the dance instructor wanted us to get to know one another. So we thought we'll get around and start chatting with each other and stuff like that. But no, he said, get in a big heap on the floor. So there were 50 of us in one big heap, like a bunch of maggots. We were on a big heap on the floor, and we were crawling around inside that heap, boys and girls, everybody. We were just, well, men and women, boys and girls like that. We were crawling here and there and encountering people, an elbow, a foot, an eye, a word, a mouth. Well, that we were encountering people inside that tangle. And I came across through some arms and legs, face to face with somebody else. And that person and I began to talk. And we began to have an interesting conversation. Later on, a few years later, after we were both out of college, I joined the ISKCON temple on Frederick Street in San Francisco. And guess who was driving a taxi to support the temple? It was Jayananda, the same man that I met in that heap of dancers in college a few years before.
Interesting.
Some things are simply meant to occur. So,
Mm.
Jayananda, now I would like to say something about Prabhupada names that he gave. I used to check them out. I don't check them out as much as I used to, but I check out these names, and he gave names that I think were, in a sense, the opposite of were meant to be inspirational to the people who received them. Obviously, right? That's why we didn't give a name. So,
Right.
I mean, it wasn't, and he always tried to give the spiritual name using your first first consonant of your regular name. Or not if it be consonant, it could be it could be it could be a vowel also. But it's like my name is Narayan Das. Narayan is the Bhadranath deity of Krishna and Arjuna in the Bhadranath, right at the beginning of the Ganges, origin bursting out of the rocks there. And Nara and Narayan were meditating. The demigods became very panicky and sent down beautiful girls to seduce them, and they, without even batting an eye, manifested a goddess that was so gorgeous that when she flew up to the heavenly planets, the demigods stopped worrying about whether the Narayan Rishi was going to destroy their kingdoms up in the heavenly planets, and they started chasing around after that beautiful girl that they had created out of his thigh without any effort. So that's Narayan. Why me, Narayan? Because I had a terrible addiction to women. And so Prabhupada named me the opposite, how to be completely transcendental to the addiction to women. And so you take Jayananda, and Jayananda was he had a very chronically depressed personality. He was always very sad. He was always chanting, he was always running service, he was always saying Jai to Prabhupada like that. But it was like on top of his sadness or his depression, chronic depression. So Jayananda means the triumph of bliss. But he was named also, he was the opposite of that in real life. Not blissful, but very sincere and very fervent. And so that's Jayananda. So Jayananda did so much service. People became addicted to Jayananda because he did so much service. And he helped people do service. It was very nice, very steady-minded, steady person. But ultimately, he did a lot of things, but ultimately he was not doing, I don't want to go there because I don't know. Jayananda was not the sort of person people thought he was, put it that way. One day when we were in Seattle, I was at the Pike Street Market and getting some stuff, and Jayananda was there wolfing down some, not prasadam, he wolfing down some food he bought at a stall there. And he saw me, and he got very bitter and angry and said, "Oh, I see. You're going to tell everybody that I was eating this non-prasadam."
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't, but that's the way he thought. And then, just before he died, a couple of days before he left his body, I wanted to come and offer my obeisances, prostrated dandavat in his presence, because I recognized all the wonderful things he had done in building Rathayatra cars. I built the Rathayatra cars and he made them worse. But I mean, I don't want to talk about that because that's what happened, you know. He didn't build Rathayatra cars. He did in New York, but they got worse every year after I built them to begin with in 1970. And he almost came up to me and said, "No, Narayan, I'm simply trying to follow in your footsteps, making Rathayatra cars." And I looked at him and I said, "Oh, thank you." But in my heart, I was saying, "I wish you would," because he didn't. He was making something worse each year. It's just unbelievable.
Anyways, that pastime before he passed away, Prabhu, you were going to say
Yeah,
something.
okay, yeah. Before he passed away, I went to see him, and he was in New Dorka in a house, and he's sitting on the floor. And I walk in to offer him homage and love because I loved Jananda and he loved me, I thought. And I came in to offer my obeisances. And he looks at me sitting against the wall, and he was dying of a very complicated cancer. He'd gone all over the world to try to cure it, to Mexico, Laetrile, all these other things to try to cure his cancer. And he was dying. He was just finished. Some sort of maybe leukemia or something of that sort. And he sat there, and I come in to offer my obeisances. And he says, "Oh, you have come to gloat over the fact that I am dying and that you're not."
Wow.
That was not what I had in mind.
Interesting.
I think I offered I don't even know if I offered obeisances. I think I might have just run out of the building. I was so shocked and horrified. I never told you that before. You asked.
I didn't ask.
That was his last words. You said that last time. But that was his last words to me. I said, "Why? Why?" So now they put his picture on the Rathayatra car and say he built the Rathayatra cars. I built Rathayatra car with gigantic wooden wheels that were 6 feet high. He made metal wheels that didn't look very well, that had a strap around. When the wheels rolled, they got mashed so that the Rathayatra car was going tuck, 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 stumbling along and shaking all over the place because of those wheels. He didn't have to do it. He could have just continued to use my wheels, but he didn't. So I don't want to get into it. I have nothing against Jayananda. I'm sure he, if anyone, may have gone straight back to Godhead. I don't know. But I went and saw his body after he left his body, a few hours after he left his body. Chandanacharya brought me there with some other devotees. And he was lying there in a hospital type bed, tilted up. And he had a tranquil look on his face. His mouth was opened slightly, and his brow was tilted back. So it was clear to me, it would be clear to anyone, that he had left auspiciously, either through his mouth or through his nose, and that is how he left his body. So that was nice.
Haribol. Any more other questions regarding philosophy?
So if we offer food to demigods, since they are devotees of Krishna, so would they be offering the food to Krishna before they eat?
Why don't you do it to offer directly to Krishna? Why would you want to offer to demigods?
That means I'm saying what the point is. We can we accept the food of demigods because they are devotees of Krishna. So in the sense they would be offering the food they eat to Krishna before they eat.
Yes, but it's more complicated than that. Remember, they're demigods. They're surrounded by thousands of goddesses. They're surrounded by thousands of Brahmins and all sorts of Kshatriyas. So what is actually happening on the heavenly planets is that the demigods, everything is offered to Krishna by the Brahmins. So they're not personally making an offering. They pay with gold and treasures for the Brahmins to offer to Krishna. And I'm sure that there may be, ladies that want special favors from other demigods and offerings to them, or make offerings to Krishna because they want some special benediction from Krishna. So they make their own little offerings. But the basic thing is it's a huge system. The Varnashram Dharma is huge. And it is throughout all the universes, where sometimes Brahma has thousands or even millions of heads, and sometimes Brahma has only one head. Our Brahma has 4 heads. So we shouldn't get too complacent about our demigods in this one universe. The demigods of this universe, Indra, Chandra, etc., these are demigods, yes. But to consider other universes, how many more demigods they have, what more exalted demigods they had, we cannot even imagine. We cannot imagine. So yes, the demigods are devotees of Krishna, but they are also running the whole universe. They're not just running their own household, and they're not just running their own planet. They're running the universe.
Since they are devotees, wouldn't they be offering food to Krishna before they eat?
It's already offered by the Brahmins. Just like when you go to the temple and you eat the Sunday feast, are you offering it to the deity? Or are you
No.
taking the prasad that's been offered to the deity? You see? I suppose if there's a demigod completely by himself and he was hungry and he wanted to make something and offer it, or offer a mango or some fruit, something like that, he would offer it, I'm sure. But at what point is a demigod completely all by himself? That's the whole thing. He's surrounded by everyone that works with him. It's all a big machine composed of highly evolved souls. The demigod's never by himself. It's not like Lord Shiva standing on a cloud or something. No.
So-
if Indra or if any of these great go ahead.
So if someone offers food to Lord Shiva or Ganesh, as devotees, I think Bhanu Prabhu is asking that question, that if we can offer prasadam, eat the offerings.
Yeah. But we're not demigods.
No. Can we take prasadam of Lord Shiva? Since he is a devotee, foremost devotee, the food he would be eating would already be offered to Krishna.
No, we are supposed to only eat prasad that is offered to Krishna, not to demigods. Because the demigods are lower than the Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavas are directly worshiping Krishna through the Sampradaya. The demigods are assisting other demigods in the universe to fulfill certain functions. There's no point. People worship Shiva because they want to get something out of Shiva. They want him to give them something.
The devotees can worship, see Lord Shiva and Lord Shiva Brahma as we have Brahma Sampradaya. We worship Brahma as he's the origin of our parampara.
We can worship Brahma as the head of our Sampradaya, but we can't worship him for material gain.
Yeah.
You see, we don't worship anyone for material gain.
Yeah.
Now, supposing a son has a rich father, he can do secret pujas hoping his father will increase his allowance, but that's not our purpose, right?
Yes, not our purpose.
Our purpose is to function with the father in the business, in whatever he's doing, not to make some separate puja to get more than get more money from him than my elder brother gets. That's not the idea. But that's all the demigod worshipping is how to get more than somebody else gets.
The prominent demigods are the more important demigods are devotees like Lord Shiva and Brahma.
Well, Lord Shiva
Ganesh also.
Lord Shiva is not meant to be worshipped by people.
We see him as a foremost Vaishnava.
He may be, but he is not worshipable by Vaishnavas.
He's not?
No. Vaishnavas don't worship Ganesh, they don't worship Shiva, they don't worship Chandra, they don't worship Durga, they don't worship Kali.
There's a whole
Why?
sampradaya coming from Lord Shiva, Rudra Sampradaya.
No, but Vaishnavas means worship of Lord Vishnu. That's it. Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vishnu,
Since he's a
Vishnu,
devotee, we pay our obeisances to Lord Shiva. Just the
Yes,
way
we
we
do
pay
that.
obeisances to
But
Prabhupada, since
Shiva,
he's a devotee.
but Bhanu, Shiva is not Vishnu. He used
No,
to be Vishnu, but he's not Vishnu anymore.
in one sense, he has come from Vishnu, and in another sense, he is the foremost Vaishnava.
He may be a foremost Vaishnava, but he's not Vishnu. Now, here's the thing. Can a devotee worship the material energy?
Yes,
Did you say,
but it's
Bhanu?
not recommended. No. I can.
Well, everybody's worshiping the material energy simply if they eat an unoffered bag of popcorn at the movies.
Right.
But
right.
But that's not the point. What point I'm making is, can we take the material energy, put on an altar, and worship the material energy?
No.
Bhanu,
No.
we
No.
cannot. Okay, but Shiva is married to the material energy. His consort is Prakriti, material energy. Maya, Prakriti, material energy.
Right.
We cannot
Lord
worship Shiva because he's married to the material energy.
But then Lord Shiva even has access to the Rasa dance. He's the Gopeshwar over there.
Oh, that's a different thing. Are you going to dance in the Rasa dance?
No, I'm saying, no, I'm just stating the point.
No.
How exalted Lord Shiva is.
Shiva can do whatever Lord Shiva does, and I don't know if that is even a bona fide observation. But because Shiva does not go to Krishna Loka, if you meant the Rasa dance in Vrindavan, India, that is the triquadrantal realm, which is not directly Krishna's original form anyhow, although it manifests as Krishna's original form. So whatever happens there might be slightly different, but I don't think Shiva does not ever go into Krishna Loka. Can't. Lord Shiva never goes into the Brahmajyoti, doesn't go into the spiritual sky. Why? You cannot go into the spiritual sky if you have any association with matter. And he's married to matter.
There's a pastime in which Parvati had.
Yep.
No, I don't want to discuss it.
That is the material goddess. So he cannot go into this. He cannot even go into Brahman. He must stay inside the material universe. Shiva.
Kailas is in the spiritual world. Kailas is also a part of spiritual world.
He's not in the spiritual world. He's only in the material world.
Kailas is spiritual. I mean, it's part of the spiritual world also. That is also spiritual.
So where in the spiritual
loka.
world is Lord Shiva? Where is his loka in the spiritual world?
Above materially. Above the first spiritual loka is Kailash. Above it,
when he is Vishnu, he's in the spiritual world. But Vishnu's consort is Lakshmi, not Durga.
Right. Yeah.
So how can Shiva be in the spiritual world? He can come from the spiritual world, but he cannot go back to it. Just like you could take milk and make yogurt out of it, but you cannot take the yogurt and turn it back into milk. That's Prabhupada made very clear.
Right. Yes.
So he's curdled milk, not milk. Does that make some sense?
Bhanu Prabhu.
But we have to take into account, we're in Kali Yuga. The Mughals came, the British came, Maya came, The whole place is a big mess. You look around you, the coronavirus is around you. I mean, good God, what more do you want? The whole world we're in is a mess. People start worshiping Shiva instead of Vishnu. Why? He's not supposed to be worshipped instead of Vishnu.
Yeah,
But they
I
worship
misunderstood the
anyhow.
question,
Why?
Prabhu.
Because they have a
You're
Vishnu. They
saying
have a
Lord
Shiva.
Shiva, you're saying Lord Shiva in perspective of Lord Vishnu, in perspective of Krishna.
It's not happening. They said, but they only said because they want to make some money off of it. They keep the temple open, Shiva temple, and how are you going to worship there if you're not?
I'm not talking about them.
Who are you talking about?
I was just, I put a question. I was relating to the question exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
So someone sends me Lord Shiva's prasadam. So can I take it? I'm saying because Lord Shiva is a devotee and he would have offered it to Krishna.
No, we don't take the prasadam of Lord Shiva or from Durga either. How can I take prasadam from Lord Shiva and not take prasadam from Durga? Shiva can take prasadam from Durga.
Because we can take Prabhupada's remnants. We can take Prabhupada's remnants of a Vaishnava. So that would help us increase in our devotion. Remnants of a Vaishnava.
We can understand that. But we don't, put it this way. We don't need to worship Shiva. We can worship Vishnu. We can worship Krishna. Why should we worship Shiva? We don't need to. There's no need to worship Shiva. It's not that he'll starve to death if we don't feed it.
We are worshipping Shiva in our Sampradaya as in the Panchatattva. He's one of the personalities.
What?
He's one of the personalities in the Panchatattva. He's part
Which one?
of Lord.
Which one?
Shri Krishna
Advaita
Chaitanya Prabhu. Advaita.
I think Advaita was part Lord Shiva or something like that.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know the technicalities behind that too.
I don't know exactly who is Lord Shiva, but one of them is part of Lord Shiva.
I think
He's representing Lord Shiva. He's the incarnation.
Safer not. If you can find that to be true, I will accept it. But it has to come from Prabhupada's writing, not from the Lord Shiva writing. You know, the minute that Lord Chaitanya appears with the Panchatattva, everyone's going to want to cash in through their own mouth, their own group. So we cannot go there. We have to go to the transparent via medium means we go to the transparent via medium. If we go to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, we go to Prabhupada, and then we stay with Prabhupada and we stay with his writing, what he wrote, because that is also Prabhupada. It is also transparent. And when we do that, we don't have to look around. Now, if you're thinking, well, you're in India and somebody offers me Shiva Prasadam, should I eat it? And the point is, don't hang out with those people. You should hang out with Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
No, my father would be giving me some Shiva Prasadam would be our ancestral god is Lord Shiva. So if Shiva Prasadam comes in a mail, so my father would take some prasad. Have some of it.
Why?
No, his father is a Lord Shiva devotee, and they offer prasadam to Lord Shiva. So when it
our
comes,
ancestral god is Lord Shiva.
So your father is a Shiva, or
no, our ancestral god is Lord Shiva. House.
So you're saying, can you accept an offering to Lord Shiva that your father offered to Lord Shiva, and he's not offering the prasadam to you? Is that the idea?
Yes, that's what he's saying.
No, we got prasadam through mail from one of the temples. So my father said, take the prasad, have it.
Well, I don't know. I don't think there's any basis to do that. It's an awkward situation, obviously.
Right.
You have to look in the database or something. I will tell you frankly, I don't know. Well, I mean, because you're dealing with someone who's your father, who's a worshiper of Lord Shiva. So So it's hard to say. But you know, like Lord Buddha, his father was a big Kshatriya, and he wanted him to be a big Kshatriya. So Buddha stood there without moving for a huge period of time. And his father finally gave in and said, "Okay, go. You can become you can go. You don't have to be my heir." So just because the father offers doesn't mean you have to take. But at the same time, you don't want to make your father unhappy or feel that you're betraying your tradition as a child. So that's a tough question, and I don't have an answer. But I would say that all in all, if you were a very strict Vaishnav, you would say, "Father, thank you, but I can only take Krishna Prasad," which is what Prabhupada wanted us to do. I don't think anybody in the ISKCON Guru presumably would take any Shiva Prasad, anything offered to Shiva. You can ask them, ask the gurus, is it bona fide to take Shiva Prasadam?
I know it's not, they don't tell you to take.
They say not to?
Yeah.
They say not to. You ask them.
Yeah. Anyways,
so what are you doing? Are you trying to waste my time? You've already been told that.
No.
But Barney, you can ask me any question you like because I'm very happy and proud to answer it. And you gave me a very good reasoning. You gave me very good logic. And you also gave me the very good connection. This is from your Shiva temple. Your father got it. He wants his son to eat it. And I have to continuously say, just like the ISKCON temple people, no, we cannot take Shiva Prasadam. We only take Krishna Prasadam. And that's a fact.
Anyways,
Prabhupada never took Shiva Prasadam.
I think it's getting late. I think it's getting late. We'll end it here.
Okay.
And Bhanu Prabhu, we'll try to start tomorrow at 7 o'clock. At least.
More like 7. The thing is, isn't that too early for him in India? That's 7 in the morning for him in India, no?
Bhanu, 7 p.m. is fine, California time, or?
7 p.m. means it's 9 o'clock India time. 8:30 India time, no?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I know that in New Delhi, when my brother left his body, it was 6 o'clock at night, just about 6 o'clock at night, and I got a phone call just about 6 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and I got a phone call 6 o'clock at night that he just left his body. So it was practically within 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So I don't know where you are. It'll be a different time frame, of course, you know. Just like New York is different than Los Angeles.
So does Narayan Prabhu, I mean, according to, he has for him the time is not possible, right? These timings.
7 o'clock. We're trying to start a little earlier so more people can participate. So you can join in anytime.
Why not ask Bhanu what time it is now in India for him?
What time is it in India, Prabhu?
11:40.
11:40 a.m. Okay, I see.
Okay, what time is it for us?
It's 10:11 p.m.
1.5 hours.
So it's about an hour later for him, right?
Yeah,
24 hours plus an hour.
Yes.
12 hours plus an hour. So, so what time would 7 o'clock be for Bhanu? It would be 8 o'clock, right?
8:30.
Okay, so we can do it. If you get up that early, I'm testing you.
Depends. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
It's okay. So we'll try to shoot for 7 p.m. California time. So
8 o'clock your time. And since you're not showing up on the picture tonight, you don't have to brush your teeth or comb your hair.
I'm hurrying up and joining every day because I'm waking up late today every day.
The call is breaking.
Drinking my coffee, I'm putting it on mute, drinking my coffee, taking some nutrition.
Well, if you drink coffee and ask a good question, then you took a good simulation to ask a good question. But
Ah,
I mean, it's one of the four regulative. It's an intoxicant. It's one of the four regulative principles. But to tell you the truth, sometimes medicinally people will take things. Like Prabhupada's father took opium because of a stomach condition. That was very popular back in those days, for opium to treat different types of like ulcers and stuff like that, because it's a narcotic and it killed the pain. So so anything can be medicinal, but we avoid intoxication because we want to utilize our clear-mindedness without intoxication. But that's the way it goes. So Hare Krishna, shall we all depart, and we'll try to start tomorrow morning?
Jai, Prabhu, we'll end it here.
We'll end
Hare
it here.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you very much.
Who else is still on the line? Anybody? Lakshmi is on the line.
Yeah, I'm on the line. Can you hear me?
Hare Krishna. How
Hare
nice.
Krishna.
Now here you
Yeah.
were listening to us going on and on and on. Did anything
Yeah.
did you find anything attract was your intelligence attracted by anything we were saying?
Yeah. The last conversation that arose from Bhanu Prabhu maybe about offering to Lord Shiva. Yeah, I just wanted to add few points if time allows.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, the last 5 minutes. So basically, like, yeah, like as I told earlier, people do have some confusions about Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. Like, both are same. Shiva is a devotee of Lord Vishnu. Like, they know that, but still there are some confusions, right? So like, as if you already know, so Lord Shiva or Brahma, so they born from Shri Vishnu only, right? So they are great devotees of Vishnu. So though you offering food to Lord Shiva, so Lord Shiva or any other gods are not, they're not ready to accept anything that we directly give to them, because his god is first for them, right? So they maybe internally they offer to their god, and then they accept it. So what the best thing you can do, you can offer whatever, the prasad to Lord Vishnu or Krishna, then you can offer the same to Lord Shiva. That will be more, meaningful, and Lord Shiva will also like it in that way.
Jai.
Well,
Very,
that's very
very
nice
good.
explanation. Lakshmi, you have an extremely good Shastric mind. Thank you. I think you're
Yeah.
going to end up being one of our leaders on this forum, because you'll offer clarity and intelligence to complicated questions. And unlike me, you'll be able to make clarification in a short period of time.
Jai.
And
So we thank you very much. Hare Krishna. My offer my obeisances to Lakshmi
oh,
Jai,
no.
Prabhu.
My
Thank you very
and
much.
everyone, and Banu,
yes.
Hare
and
Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhu.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Do we still have everybody? This has been a wonderful evening. So I was so pleased and so happy. And I don't even mind that I'm freezing to death. So that's good. Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
Prabhu, we'll end it here. Hare Krishna, Jai.
Jai. It's up to you to do the ending.
I'm doing it
Yeah.
now. End the
Okay.
meeting, Paul. Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai,
All
all
glories
glories.
to Jagat
All
Guru.
glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Thank you very much.